The one thing with s1mple that we've always known, he said it himself, NaVi is his dream team. And if you looked back at some of the events now, because of the social dynamic of him being Ukrainian, even when he was in America, even when he was on Flipside, he was always hanging out with the NaVi players, right? So you could tell, and this is the key word with s1mple. We know he's toxic. We know he's a troll. It's respect. And I think this is the first team, and I've always said this, that if he joined NaVi, it's the first team that he would respect enough to shut the fuck up and play his role.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you look at his time in Flipside, he never went into any team and said, I'm the primary opper. He always looked at who was doing it and said, I can do better than that, I'm taking it. Well, and that was a lack of respect. Guys like World Edit started as the opper. s1mple was the dynamic hybrid. Took the op away because World Edit wasn't accomplishing much. Same with Kusta, same with Adren. JDM was hitting his shots. Yep. We saw what happened. He gave JDM the up. It's a respect thing, and he's not going to
which I kind of respect in a way, you know. Like if you think you can do something better than someone, why aren't you doing it? If you are, he probably is better than Kusta. He probably, but it is better as World Edit. I think if you break it down like that, Matt, like obviously he probably went around it the wrong way in terms of like he took people off.
That's the thing though. That's where he oversteps it.
But I think fair play to the guy. Like if he thinks he's genuinely better and people aren't going to listen to him, he's like, well, I'm going to do this. Like, and I'm going to win his games. But like, I completely understand it's a horrible way to go around it, and you get yourself a horrible reputation in terms of going forward, and you poison yourself in terms of your career and people who want to work with you. Luckily for him, he is so good. He's so fucking good that he can, like, he's carried, I wouldn't say carried, he assisted Liquid into the grand final of the last major.
Yeah, Legion Nitro and Hiko.
Yeah, they would like that as well. That was that's the point I wanted to make. But basically, he was a key factor in that one. He proved how well he can play on the very, very top level. People have like kind of questioned that, whether he can work in a team or whether he can actually bring a team success. He's proven that he can play at that level. And I think, like you said, I think you're absolutely right. I think this takes NaVi from the contenders for the grand final every time. So we're seeing a NaVi win coming this year. I reckon less than, well, obviously major's not till January, but I think they're going to be hot favourites going into that one. That's crazy.
Clear cut top two right now are SK NaVi. Yeah. With the roster changes, that has to be it. I mean, G2. Still not convinced. We saw a surge. We saw some performance. No question. I think SK NaVi are number 1 and 2
Do we feel like a shuffle's coming there?
Sounds like there's not. I haven't heard anything to convince me that there is. I heard rumors at first, but it sounds like it's not due to legal obligations. But to the s1mple point, let's stick with that because, I don't disagree with you that if you're better, you could take the role, but it's the way he went about it.
Yeah, no,
doing it mid-game, and if he wasn't getting his way, playing just absolutely stupid, taking aggression down mid in maps.
There's a way to go around things, and I think that's the difference between when you're a boy and you're a man. I think he's kind of finally making that
he's
leap.
about 18, 19 now.
So he's making that leap into things like, well...
He's legal age, Henry.
He's making that leap now to realizing, okay, well, I am this good, and the team that I'm in can be so much better.
Tom didn't like that joke.
Wasn't your best. Wasn't your best work. Shout out to Twitch. Thanks for sponsoring the show. I've lost my point now. Basically, you kind of like understanding as an adult that you can have these strong opinions. You can be aggressive about them. You can be fiery about them. That's fine. But you can't be rude to people. You can't patronize them time and time again and make them feel like shit and not want to work with you and give yourself this horrible reputation. I think you're absolutely right. NaVi, he has no grounds going into there and being like the big dick.
And
like
he thinks s1mple or Guardian is the best opera in the world. Yeah. I can't see him saying to Guardian, no, I'm better than you. I can't see him ever doing. I mean, maybe if he's inconsistent, he could say, hey, can I take
to be fair, Guardian's form right now, I would say s1mple might have him beat in terms of like raw skill right now, but you can never argue the Guardian.
Right, that's a debate.
Like in his locker, he's got that world best all player that's ready to come out anytime soon. He hasn't had the best form recently, but still, like that's coming. It's definitely coming back.
So to look into this a little bit deeper as well, I mean, everyone looked at the Liquid thing and thought it was the best Cinderella story ever. The Hiko romance with s1mple, look, that was great, and I'm always gonna think of that about that team. That team's got a soft spot in my heart because I always said the Elige Nitro duo was sick. I'm so glad to see them get some results from their hard work. And who's to say Pimp doesn't come in, do a fantastic job. He has apparently just gone over there now. He's arrived recently, or is arriving. I
think he arrives like tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah, because he'll be there for the start of the Pro League, obviously. Yep. So the player breaks down, the vacations are done. But going into the depths of that team, there was issues with s1mple there. There were guys on that team that, like, I would ask them, like, hey, how'd your boot camp go coming to this event? And they'd be like, Jesus Christ, it's so hard to, like, get stuff done sometimes, and just
I remember that even at the events. I think like I think it was ECS finals, and like I'd be outside smoking like a couple of players, and doesn't matter who.
Vaping with
vaping. We were vaping with the Space Jam Andromeda juice. It's the tastiest.
It smells amazing.
It does. Matt doesn't smoke or anything. It's not like he doesn't want to use a product. He will never get near it. So anyway, the thing is, the point of making, like, they'd go outside. And I'd be speaking to like some of the players or the coach or something like that, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you guys seem really down. What's going on?" It's just, it's s1mple. Like he doesn't want to get off deathmatch. He doesn't want to talk about the strategy of the upcoming game. All he wants to do is deathmatch. I said, well, in some ways that's good. You want him to be on sick form, but like if he's actually actively trying to upset you guys by just being stubborn, then that's a real problem. That's when you got like, that's when you have someone like that. Obviously, like it's great. Like some players don't even bother deathmatching for the game, and they'll turn up and they'll have a horrible performance. That's great to see him. And one side of it is like, okay, it's amazing to see he's so dedicated. But if you're upsetting your team and they're saying, mate, could we just talk about the upcoming game? The vetoes and like, what do you want to play? And he's like, just, oh fuck off, man. I'm playing my deathmatch. You know, I'm the best player here. I'll do what I want. I don't. You guys do the theory. You work that out. I'll do what I want.
Yeah. And well, to give you an idea of do what he wants, we were sitting at was Malmo when they had Kusta right after their success at Columbus, and I couldn't sleep. I rarely get it, but an odd bout of jet lag, and I'd gone for a run at like 5 a.m. because there was nothing else to do, and I came back to get breakfast, and S1mple was sitting in the breakfast room. Still owes me a knife, which he promised me that morning, so everyone can let him know he still owes
famously
me that knife.
Good at handing over knives.
Exactly, yeah. But he still owes me a knife. But we were sitting there, and that was the morning he literally said to me, and this is to give you the idea, he literally said, I'm opting on the T side today. And I was like, what do you mean?
No teammates there, of course. He's made that decision. He's having his cornflakes. Right. It's like, you know
You're
what?
exactly right. So then the rest of the team comes down, and he goes the next drive, and Hiko and I get along well, and he saw us sitting there, and he came over, and then the rest of the team joined. And he was joking around like, right, Kusta, I'm up today. And Kusta was just sitting there like,
yeah, that team ruined that guy. I feel
I feel bad for Kusta. Like, to be fair, he didn't perform when he had the chance, but
how can you though?
When you so hard.
Like, it's obviously like we could talk about this all night, I think. But like, if you've got that kind of pressure, and you're a young guy as well, and you've got such a strong personality, you're too scared to even talk to, like, or answer back to. You're just like, I don't want to upset this guy. Like, it would be so devastating for all of us if I upset him. I just have to do what he says. Yeah. And then you're just forced to like, you feel like your team are questioning you as a whole. If someone in your team doesn't have confidence in you, that can be a real factor. Like, especially like when you know, like if S1mple dies first, and you know he's just watching you straight away. You know, like, I'm gonna watch how shit this guy is. I'm gonna go straight onto it. I've had that in teams before as well. And you feel like this is a really toxic environment. Like, I can't perform as I'm feeling all this pressure. And it's like,
there's a famous clip too where S1mple's like, woo, the crowd, and like Elise's just like, Jesus, like, shut up.